None of you really understand why I post my videos or who I truly am. So this video I want to go over my lore and who Wyatt King really is. What brought him up to this point where now he preaches so heavily against lust, for improving your life. You know, what caused me to be this man? Because none of you truly know my lore, and no one in this world really knows my lore. I've kept it all private, so I want to tell it to you guys. But who is Wyatt King? Throughout my life, I grew up with many insecurities. I maybe was a little bit neurodivergent. I couldn't socialize that well because I would always troll, and I still have this issue. I troll. It's this issue of trolling, and it's a huge issue which has actually impacted my life, just like trolling and not be able to actually grow real connection with other human beings. It is a true issue that I have. I haven't been able to actually have a real relationship with like a woman because I can't just connect with them. I can't connect with them. I can't be myself. I can't be vulnerable. I'm always putting on a mask, trying to be somebody who I'm not. And it has genuinely infected my life. It is truly affected my life. It affected the man who I am. But I want to go over my story, man. So you guys see me, you see, Wyatt King, he preaches so heavily against lust, against gooning. But why does he do that? Why does he post these videos? What did he go through posting these videos? I remember my first time I ever gooned. I was laying there, I was in like 7th grade, scrolling on TikTok, which is really poison for you, looking at soft corn, and then boom, you goon. And you get that feeling. It feels so good in the moment. And the first time you do it, there's no guilt. There's no regret. Oh, it feels good. Then you do it again and again and again. And you get stuck in that cycle, which will genuinely destroy your life. And it destroyed my life for such a long period of time. If you guys understood, truly, if you guys understood that kid, that kid who was sitting there in his bathroom gooning and watching corn every single day because he didn't have intimacy, because he hated himself, and it was the only sort of enjoyment and pleasure he could get, you guys would understand why I preach so heavily against this. Why I say don't give in to lust, don't goon, improve your life, become the best version of yourself. Because for so long I hated myself. For so long I had deep-rooted insecurity, deep-rooted hatred that haunted me. I couldn't speak to girls because I thought they wouldn't like me. I couldn't even speak to other people because I thought everyone hated me, and that self-hatred drained me. And the more I gooned, the more I gave into lust, the more it just held me captive. Until one single day, I said, you know what? This is what happened. One single day, I got so pissed off. I remember this is the most vulnerable I've been. I remember gooning one time, and I was on Twitter scrolling. I find a video of a girl who looked like the girl I had a crush on, like freshman year. And I'm like, when I gooned to it, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? It was this moment where I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? It's just a moment of pure self-disgust, pure self-disappointment, pure self-hatred. It was what I looked at myself, I was like, what is wrong with you? You have to change your life. You have to, because if you keep getting down this cycle, I started to, visualize it. What's going to happen to my life if I keep gooning and giving into lust? It's going to go downhill. I'm going to eventually turn out to be this like creep, this 6-year-old creep who gets no girls. So I remember that day very vividly. I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm so disgusted with the man who I am. I'm so disgusted. I'm so disgusted at that kid, at that version of myself so far beyond me, that I'm now going to become this new version. And I'm going to have I'm going to basically mentally kill myself and become this new version of myself. And that's what I did. I said, you know what? I'm done gooning. I'm done giving into lust. I'm done having these deep-rooted insecurities. I still have these things, right? I still have insecurities. That's why I work so hard. None of you understand that. That's why I do what I do, because I truly just want to. I want to just give my all to something. I want to be the best at something. My entire life, I've spent it trying to prove to other people, to prove to myself that I'm not a nobody. And I've spent my life chasing these things, chasing validation. It led me nowhere, because the only thing that have actually given me peace in this life is just growing with God. And that's the truth, man. And that played a huge role in it when I stopped. It was a recognition. I was so disgusted at the man I was with God that night. There was so much that night. It was disgust with myself, disgust with what I'm doing with my relationship with God, just as who I am. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this, God. I remember I quit on February 1st. It was like the first day of Lent. I remember that's when I quit for the first time. I've had 2 moments in my life where I quit. And I quit. And I quit for a whole year. In that year, if you guys could feel how amazing I felt, I had this childlike joy. I felt so happy. I felt so purposeful. I felt amazing, man, because I proved to myself that I finally was capable of doing something. That's why I care about this so much, man. When I was able to quit gooning and stop giving into lust after years of struggle, after years of battling with it, it was me proving to myself that I was actually in control, that I was able to not do something. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel self-hatred. I felt self-love. And that's why I preach so heavily on this stuff, because it saved my life. It saved my life, these self-improvement creators. It saved my life. God saved my life. All these things saved my life. What saved my life was me making that vow with myself that I'm going to, from now on, improve my life. I'm going to give my all to improving my life. Freshman year, all I cared about was the gym, my diet. How can I become the best at this? I started posting TikToks freshman year on gym content. Everyone bullied me. Everyone made fun of me because my physique was shit. I'll admit that. I had a horrible physique, but they still got made fun of so heavily. Nights, man, where I was getting bullied so hard for where I was crying. And it hurt me, and it made me angry. But all I did was turn that self-anger, that hatred into energy that pushed me forward. And eventually I quit that gym stuff because it got to my head. It got to my head, the self-hatred. And then for a year, my junior year, I gave back into, socializing with other people, going on two-mans, watching corn, gooning, eating junk food. And I got comfortable with my life. And I went back down that cycle which I fought so hard to get out of. And it drained me again, and it hurt me again. And I got a job at Chipotle, and eventually all of these things, they add up on each other. When you're working at Chipotle and you're like, what am I doing with my life? That was another huge moment in my life. When I got a job at Chipotle, and every day I was pissed off. What am I doing with my life? I said, I made so much more for this. God put me on this earth for so much more. Not here to wrap other people's burritos for $15 an hour. And every single day I worked there, it was anger. It was anger at myself for putting myself in this position. And eventually I said, I'm done. I'm done doing this. So I stopped working hard. I got fired at Chipotle, and that was the most impactful moment of my life, because that's when I started posting on TikTok, started doing business. And if you guys need to keep pushing, because the truth is, if you guys saw what I went through when I first started posting on TikTok, you would have seen it. It took me 8 months to hit 300 followers. In those 8 months, I went through so much, just getting made fun of, getting mocked. My own friends, right? My own friends would comment on these videos like jokes and mocking me, and they would all talk behind my back and say, oh, how cringy his TikToks are. But if you guys understood, the reason why I do what I do, the reason why I post these videos is because I just want to help other people's lives. And if you guys could see if you guys could just see how many people made fun of me, how many people said, oh, your advice is shit, your advice isn't helping anybody. If I could show that kid, if I could show that version of me 8 months ago, the comments I receive now, the DMs I receive now, of hundreds a day of saying, you changed my life, you saved my life. If I could show that version of myself 8 months ago, these comments, he would burst out crying, because that's all I've ever wanted to do, was just help people and help improve people's lives, because I understand the struggle. I understand how hard it is to stop gooning and stop giving into lust. It was the hardest thing I've ever overcame. So I understand it, and that's why I preach so heavily about it. And that's why it irritates me so much seeing people cope with this, saying, oh, porn's normal, oh, gooning's normal, because it's not normal. In the second we let our society, act like it's normal and just let them push OnlyFans upon us and just ruin this entire generation of young men, is the second everything goes to shit. So yes, I'm going to be so purposeful of preaching against it, because it ruined my life, and it will ruin your life. So you need to stop it, genuinely. And really, man, so many people made fun of me for these videos. So many people. I got made fun of every day, bro. People showed videos. I got sent videos of people laughing at my videos, saying how shit this advice was. But the one thing is, the truth is, man, I worked so hard for it. I worked so hard for it. And well, I worked so hard for it. And while kids in my class were mocking my videos, making fun of me, calling me names, at least I gave it my all. At least I gave social media my all. At least I decided I was done living an average life and I was going to live an extraordinary life that I would be proud of. At least I decided I was going to give my entire all to social media, to business, and I was going to set these extraordinary goals. And when I set these huge goals for myself that were just so out of reach, nobody believed in me. Everybody laughed at me. My family, my friends, everybody laughed at me. And if you guys just understood how good it feels for 8 months to get to 300 followers, to be making no money at all, and your own family saying you need to get a job, everybody's laughing at you, everybody's making fun of you, and for you to say, fuck them all, I'm going to prove them wrong, and then prove them wrong 6 months later, and everyone's glazing you, your own family supports you, everyone loves you, it's the most amazing feeling. Because the suffering is what makes it worth it, man. And I can't believe it sometimes, because this is what I prayed for. I'm finally doing what I wanted to do my entire life. My entire life, all I wanted to do was help people. All I wanted to do was improve other people's lives. And the fact that I'm finally able to do that, and the fact that I'm finally able to give advice and people aren't saying your advice is horrible and you're making fun of me, and people are actually saying you changed my life, which is the one thing I've wanted to do for years, was help change other people's lives, you would understand too why I do what I do every single day. Why I wake up every single day and record videos for 8 hours straight, then work on my Rewired app business for the other hours. Because I'm so purposeful about my work. Because all the pain I went through, all the struggle, all the self-hatred, all the insecurity, all the not getting women, being neurodivergent, I have a little bit of social awkwardness, which I know I probably do, to be honest. I have a little bit of social awkwardness. I can't really speak to women well. I'm very insecure. I'm a little socially awkward. All these things, I use them as fuel. I use them as fuel to become the man I want to be. I went through so much pain, man. So much. I don't know why I wanted to be great so badly, but all I want to do is be great with my life. I've never wanted to be average. I've never wanted to live an average life. I've just, for my entire existence, just wanted to be great at something. And I've given my all to this stuff. If you guys saw what I've done the past 6 months to get to this point, I've sacrificed so much. Family time, friend time, school. Every single day for the past 6 months, any sort of free time I had that wasn't in school. If you guys don't understand this, man. Last semester, I got a 0.6 GPA. What I did, this was my schedule. I'm not proud of it, but this is my schedule. This is what it takes. I sacrificed everything. Any sort of time in the day I had that was free, that I didn't have a class, I would make videos, film videos, log in on content. All during school, any class I had my MacBook right here, and every single class, what I did, that entire class was just code my app. That's all I did every single day. I didn't even think about school, because I said, you know what, I want to do something greater. I want to find my purpose. I said, I don't want to work a job the rest of my life. I don't want to live a life that's unmeaningful. I've already experienced that. I want to use my story to help other people. I want to save other people's lives and live the life I want to live. So if I can call you guys to one thing, it would be stop living for other people. Because I realize that, we're all going to die. And I have all these insecurities. People like to say stuff, oh, you're asymmetry, right? Oh, your face is asymmetrical. Okay, in less than 100 years, you, me, everyone watching this, we are going to be dust. We came into this earth as dust, and we're going to leave this earth as dust. So what are you scared of? You're scared of people making fun of you. You're scared of being judged. You're scared of being the kid who has the bad grades or the kid who's posting the cringy videos. You need to accept that you are going to die. There is a death date written for you and you will become dust. So who cares? Live the life you want to live. Just leave impact, man. Because I could have easily quit. I could have easily said, oh, everyone's making fun of me. Everyone's making fun of me. My videos are horrible. They're getting no views for 8 months straight. I'm done. I'm going to quit. But I said, no, I want to improve other people's lives. I want to prove to people that I am the man who I am. And I want to help other people get over the struggles I went through. And that's why I do it. And that's what you need to do. You need to find your purpose. You need to stop giving into degeneracy. Stop giving into lust. Stop gooning, because that stuff's going to ruin your life. And just find your purpose as a man. The whole epidemic with men is horrible, man. It's horrible. It's horrible. No, people are like, it's horrible. The epidemic that's going on with young men. There is a epidemic going on with young men. Young men are not having relationships. They're not going on dates. More young men are watching porn than ever. Why is this happening? It's because society it's hurting them. Society is promoting things such as hookup culture. It's promoting all these things. And I'm not free of lust. I'm not free of lust. I still struggle with lust. Literally just a few days ago, man, I struggled with lust with some girl. Because I'm not perfect and I struggle with it, and it's an internal battle. You know, I have 0 bodies. I haven't done any of this. I have 0 bodies. I've gone head once. I have like 15 kisses. Those are my I'm being as vulnerable I can with this video. But I still struggle with lust. And I'm not a perfect man. But I try my damn best to be. And I will keep continuing to use my life to try to help other people. And just to try to not, I just want to use my life to help other people. And I just want other people to not go through the same struggle and pain I went through. So that's the story of Wyatt King. I try my best.